Center for Disease Control, NCDC, indicates that another wave of COVID-19 pandemic may be imminent across the country, with the rising figure of close to 200 infections daily. The new update also indicates that Nigeria's death toll is 2,123, while total number of infections is now at 251,694. These figures seem insignificant when compared to the global disease burden. But according to the Director General of NCDC, Ifedayo Adetifa, if the virus is not contained, Nigeria stands the chance of a spike, as efforts by the center and other concerned bodies in Nigeria to sensitize Nigerians on the virus. Many still doubt the existence, making the war against the spread of COVID-19 a difficult fight for the government. Compliance with non-pharmaceutical products is still dwindling, while many are yet to come to terms with the vaccination, as a very insignificant proportion of the population have been vaccinated. How favorably disposed are the people to vaccines, and what are the consequences of non-compliance to this novel coronavirus? This is the focus of Panorama today, reaching you live from NTA Ibadan Network Center. I am Adebola Oluwole Dada. Several landmark infrastructural projects executed under the Urban Renewal Program of Kaduna State have been inaugurated in parts of the state. President Muhammadu Buhari, who performed the inauguration, commended Governor Nasir El-Rufai for the unprecedented infrastructural revolution in Kaduna by writing his name in gold. State House correspondent Adamu Sambu has the report.
For President Muhammadu Buhari, Kaduna is virtually home. He is not only loved and cherished by the people, but also deeply respected. This is where he spent most of his time after leaving the military, and perhaps it is here he retires to at the end of his tenure next year. For Governor Nasir Ahmed El-Rufai, Kaduna should never be the same when the Nigerian leader finally returns. And this, amongst others, informed his administration's urban renewal program, under which massive infrastructure projects were executed. Some of those inaugurated by President Muhammadu Buhari include the 832-meter-long 6-lane flyover in Kau, Kaduna. The 7 billion naira project, a beauty to behold, is aimed at decongesting the area and ensuring free movement of traffic.
This is a critical bottleneck, Mr. President, for transportation to the northwest, northeast, and north central of Nigeria. As I said, it's a federal project. We have built it. If Mr. President wants to reimburse us, we will be very grateful. But we did it, Mr. President, for the convenience of the people of Kaduna State and Nigeria at large.
At the ceremony, President Muhammadu Buhari recounted how he narrowly escaped a targeted bomb attack in the vicinity of the then congested area in 2014, during which some innocent Nigerians died.
Nothing happened to me. I came out and I saw pieces of human beings. God protected us.
The president also inaugurated the newly dualized and expanded Aliyu Makama Road connecting Barnawa and Sabongari areas, as well as the Yakubu Gawan Way underpass, to also decongest traffic. Other projects completed and put to use under the Urban Renewal Program are the 136-base Infectious Diseases Hospital in response to the prevailing health challenges, the Muhammadu Buhari Mega Primary School along Lokoja Road in Rigasa, as well as the remodeled Murtala Muhammad Square, built in the 70s in the heart of Kaduna.
I've been staying in Kaduna for all the time, but now I can hardly find my way. You have committed yourself to changing Kaduna, and you have been very successful, and people throughout the country are appreciative. So you are writing your history in letters of gold. I congratulate you for your achievements so far.
Before retiring for the day, the Nigerian leader also inaugurated a new fertilizer company, a major private investment in Kakuri area of Kaduna called Barbados. From Kaduna, Adamu Sambo, NTA News.
President Yemi Osinbajo launched the Nigeria COVID-19 Action Recovery and Economic Stimulus (NG Cares) being implemented with the World Bank's $750 million loan, just as the National Economic Council at its meeting on Thursday moves to curb early child marriage as a way of addressing high rate of mother and child mortality in the country. State House correspondent Jide Onifade reports.
Big Stimulus Program is described as a multi-sectoral program designed to support vulnerable and poor Nigerians. By flagging off the program, Vice President Yemi Osinbajo says it will build on the federal government interventions developed as part of the president's plan, taking 100 million Nigerians out of poverty and in response to the severe socio-economic fallout of the pandemic.
In order to ensure this successful program implementation, the federal government will provide quality assurance, monitoring, capacity building, and technical assistance to states and the FCT on project activities and results. Consequently, the federal government has inaugurated the Federal Cares Steering Committee, the Federal Cares Technical Committee, and the Federal Cares Support Unit to provide overall policy direction, technical support to all the states and FCT, and to advise Mr. President appropriately.
So we are really looking forward to working with federal and state partners over the next 6 months, over the next year, and to the speedy disbursement of the full $750 million over the next year.
Very excited about the opportunity that this presents us with to deepen the engagement within our communities and in the various segments of our population, trying very hard to respond to the economic impact of COVID-19. And we look forward to working with all our partners.
And to other matters, the National Economic Council deliberates on health delivery in the country, especially with the COVID-19 pandemic. A presentation by the National Council for Disease Control showed that the number of deaths is now 3,116 as a result of COVID-19. Equally worrisome is the spread of Lassa fever and cholera.
The health authorities are emphasizing that we should take caution and make sure that we have clean environments, and we should activate Lassa fever testing laboratories.
Adolescent girls actually contribute to the prevailing high maternal deaths in Nigeria, and that's the reason why it's very important, for us as a country, to look at that.
And to the Council on the second iteration of the Ease of Doing Business report. Information coupled with the cost of compliance report, which piloted with Lagos and the FCT in January last year, gave us a lot of information on what MSMEs are saying about the business climate across the country. So now we're going to have a second iteration of the report. The second edition of the report will be launched in Q2 of 2022.
We also presented to Council for endorsement the official development assistant policy. And this policy is designed to guide the utilization of bilateral, multilateral, and non-governmental grants into the country.
On whether decision has been taken on removal of petroleum subsidy.
That there are ongoing discussions in MEC, but there hasn't been a resolution.
This is the first meeting of the National Economic Council in year 2022. In the State House, Jide Onifade, NTA News.
The House of Representatives is to conduct an investigation into allegations that more than 178,000 arms and ammunition are missing from the armory of the Nigeria Police Force. National Assembly correspondent Lami Ali reports.
A motion from House Deputy Minority Leader
Reference was made to a report said to have emanated from the Office of the Auditor General of the Federation. It was alleged that more than 178,000 variety of arms and ammunition, among which are thousands of AK-47s and other assorted rifles and pistols, could not be accounted for across different formations of the Nigeria Police Force as at December 2018.
The value of the lost firearms could not be ascertained because no document relating to their cost of acquisition was presented for examination. Worsening state of security, kidnapping, banditry in the country, and concerned that the missing arms would have found their way into the wrong hands.
The House urged the Inspector General of Police to take urgent action towards identifying those responsible for the depletion of armory. The motion from Representative Jimim Sopo urged an investigation into unlawful administrative charges by MDAs in the award of contracts was adopted. The House passed the Electoral Acts Amendment Bill as approved during plenary Wednesday. The bill seeking to strengthen the Securities and Exchange Commission as a regulator, sponsored by Representative Babangida Ibrahim, passed second reading.
So what this bill intends to do is to relax, make it a little bit flexible, so that national governments can also approach the capital market and to source for funds.
Other bills passed at second reading include a bill to establish Federal College of Education Idere, sponsored by Representative Muraino Ajibola, and the bill to establish the National Youth Service Corps Trust Fund, sponsored by Representative Mayowa Samuel. The NYC Trust Fund Bill seeks provision of a sustainable source of fund to enhance skill acquisition training and empowerment of corps members. House Speaker Femi Gbajabiamila, at the commencement of plenary, urged lawmakers to be circumspect in their comments on issues.
I watched with dismay this morning some members of this National Assembly exercising their freedom of expression and speech. But when you exercise such freedom, be careful not to mislead the public. Be careful not to malign unjustifiably this institution.
He emphasized that the House will ensure that laid down rules are adhered to. From the National Assembly, Lami Ali, NTA News.
Moving on now, the need to manage water resources to minimize its scarcity and pollution through exploitation and poor handling has been stressed. This was the focus of discourse at a sensitization workshop on the National Water Resources Master Plan for stakeholders in the Southwest Geopolitical Zone. Shala Wahid has the report.
The aim of the workshop is to stress the importance of water to life and for stakeholders to deliberate on the actualization of the National Water Resources Master Plan to optimize the nation's water resources as well as financial and economic investment options in water resources development. Permanent Secretary, Federal Ministry of Water Resources, Didi Walson-Jack, explained that the goal of the plan is to achieve accelerated growth, integrated and coordinated water resources development and management, agricultural production, and food security.
Water is something that concerns different levels and tiers of government. And so what we are doing today is all in a bid to ensure that there is more access.
Groundwater is a big issue and which we must take cognizance of. Almost 90% of Nigerians rely on groundwater resource for their own use. So government should please place emphasis, critical emphasis on groundwater and make sure that it is well regulated and even the professionals are made to practice well.
When you are doing sensitizations, involve those political will there too, so that they will know what you are putting in, so that anytime they bring the things to table, it won't be new to you.
Somebody just rightly said that there's water scarcity. If you are not planning well, there's no way we'll be able to make this water available.
The sensitization workshop is expected to take place in the 6 geopolitical zones across the country. In Ibadan, Shola Wahid, NTA News.
Data from conversations at the ongoing Davos agenda of the World Economic Forum indicates that the world used 9% more coal in 2021 than it did in 2020, thereby increasing greenhouse gas emission. This increase is coming amidst increased nationally determined contributions to reduce the world's temperature to below 1.5 degrees by 2050. U.S. Special Presidential Envoy on Climate, John Kerry, and some global business leaders like Bill Gates recommend greater investments in the technology needed to transit from coal and fossil to renewable energy to bring down emission levels.
Energy Agency tells us that 50% of the emissions we have to stop over the next 10 years are going to come from technologies that are not yet capable of coming to scale. So we need a massive effort of investment by governments and by the private sector to send the message that will accelerate bringing these technologies to scale.
Well, the rich countries have to play a central role, both funding R&D and having policies. In some cases, carbon taxes will be used to drive the demand for these clean products.
Support from developed countries to the developing world is deemed crucial in the scaling of climate innovation. We now take a break. Panorama continues shortly.
The vaccine offers hope for a safe country free of coronavirus. I urge all state governments, traditional and religious leaders to take the lead in the mobilization effort within their environment and spheres of influence. I similarly urge all eligible Nigerians to present themselves and be vaccinated in accordance with the order of priority already mapped out at the various authorized designated centers only.
As the number of COVID-19 infection keeps rising across the globe, with Nigeria recording a daily average of over 200 new infections according to the Nigeria Center for Disease Control NCDC statistics, the country cannot afford to throw caution to the winds. In this report, correspondent Rafia Animashan Badmos, however, reports that non-compliance with non-pharmaceutical protocols is on the increase, with many still doubtful of the efficacy of the vaccination.
The COVID-19 pandemic has affected all spheres of life and human endeavors, assuming the status of social problem as it continues to spread widely through the unhindered interactions of people in public spaces. Curbing the spread of COVID-19 requires restriction in public spaces, along with other non-pharmaceutical protocols such as hand washing and use of face masks. Compliance to these